All right, Bass says we're live.
We are live.
Welcome to the Journal Stars Facebook Live, Husker Extra Facebook Live.
Sure, yeah.
It's Parker and Chris. We're employed by Lee Enterprises. We work with Lincoln Journal Star. My thing says Husker Extra. There's a beautiful cityscape behind us.
Yeah.
Minneapolis pours out behind us in its resplendence.
Looks lovely this evening.
It was not a resplendent afternoon for Nebraska.
It was not.
Nebraska lost to Minnesota today, 30-23. If you're watching us here, you likely know that. We're going to take your questions. You guys know the drill. We're going to let people filter in here for a couple minutes. Get all of your questions and comments in the comment section on YouTube and on Facebook, and we'll get to as many as we can in maybe 15 or 20 minutes here. But Baz, first things first, what was where does your mind go first, I guess, when you size up what you saw over the last 4 hours?
It's funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's mind numbing, right? Like it's the same thing again. It's how does this team show up flat in a huge game? How does this team again climb back into it and not score from inside the 1 yard line, get sacked for a safety, with a fourth-year quarterback, miss a chip shot field goal, miss an extra point. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I guess that's where my mind goes. It's just it almost goes blank. It's the same. We've seen this so many times, and you could almost just write the story before the game started. And I think we all thought Nebraska was going to win this game. I think we said that in our predictions, but at the same time, Minnesota coming off a bye week. PJ Fleck has obviously had some success against Nebraska, and they did the job in the first half of the day, made Nebraska play catch up.
Yeah, they did. It's amazing. There's been a point in each of the last 3 games that Nebraska's lost, Michigan State, Michigan, and today for sure. And you could maybe make the case for Oklahoma, but I think it's a little bit more of a stretch. Like when it was 7-3 at halftime against Oklahoma and Nebraska was driving early in the second half, you're like, okay, Nebraska's definitely in this game.
Yeah.
Each of the past 3 losses, Michigan State, Michigan, and today, there's been a moment in the game where you just were like sure that Nebraska was going to take control of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They took the lead in the fourth quarter against Michigan State, did the same against Michigan, and they never actually led today. But when it was 21-16 and they're on the 1 yard line going in, you're like, okay, here it goes. They had tilted the field so thoroughly that you just figured, like, this looks like a game that Nebraska might win by multiple scores.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they get stoned on 3rd and goal at the one. It's really close. It got reviewed. Adrian thought he was in, as he said after the game, that they reviewed it and said he wasn't. And then Jacques Bazant tripped over the 2 yard line and came up short. And that really was the turning point. So Nebraska now 3-5 going into the first 2 bye weeks, 1-4 in the Big Ten. Iowa just lost to Purdue. Man, the West is just begging for somebody to take it. Nebraska's had every chance under the sun this year, and they just haven't been able to do it.
Yep.
Let's get to the questions. Tommy says, what's going on here? And Jack says, where's Sipple? Yeah, Sipple, we're playing a man short this week. He's not here. We wish he was. He's dealing with the family situation, so we're thinking of him, and we can't wait to get him back on this dog and pony show really soon. Chris, GBR from Brule, Nebraska. Dean, it's like a scene from Waterboy.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. This is a good Husker team, but man, they need to be around.
Need to turn it around.
Oh, need to turn it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Turn it around. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Thoughts? Well, yeah.
I mean, they're 3-5. Can we call them good at this point? 5. I mean, you've got 5 one-score losses, but guess what? You've got 5 one-score losses. At some point, you have to win those games, and they're better certainly than they were when Scott Frost first got here. But you are what your record says you are, and pretty much every coach will say that. Nebraska's 3-5, and they're 1-4 in the Big Ten.
It's amazing. You probably all have seen this stat today. You've certainly seen it over the past weeks. Nebraska's 5-17 now in one-score games under Scott Frost. But the most confounding part of that is this might be the the best team they've had. It feels like it's the best team they've had, but this team is 0-5 in those games.
It's insane.
Which is by far the worst they've been in close games. Now, I don't know. You can try to explain that away and say, well, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they wouldn't have played a close game with a top 10 team, and that may be true. But, man, they cannot get over the hump at all this year. And it's really – they found new ways to fail to get over the hump and to lose for going on more than a month now. Janice says, why do you have masks on? Well, Janice, it's just because we love wearing them. I mean, we get the same stupid question every week, and it's because they're required in almost every press box in the Big Ten. In fact, maybe every press box in the Big Ten. So that's why. It's a rule. We follow it. If the Huskers lose every game the rest of the season, there's no way Frost is back, right? Rye bread. I mean,
they'd be 3-12.
3-9.
3-9.
I don't. I've covered. This is my 5th year covering Nebraska. I've decided that I'm just going to stop trafficking in like absolutes, the no ways and the absolutes and all of that, because something weird always seems to happen. You know what, Trev Alberts, the athletic director, who ultimately this is in his hands, what he's said over and over again is that he wants to see detail and he wants to see fight and he wants to see discipline and all of that. And that's a lot less likely to continue happening if Nebraska loses the rest of its games. I don't know. I don't know. 3-9 in year 4 is not good news for anybody. But I don't think there's any way to say anything with certainty at this point. Can you ask, why are we in shotgun 4th and 1 at the 1? Adam, in fact, we did ask that after the game. Scott Frost had an explanation. He said, okay, Baz, run down what he said, and then there's an interesting wrinkle to it.
Yeah, he essentially said that they do have that in the playbook, but it seems, I'm going to become incredulous here. They had watched film and had decided as a coaching staff that Minnesota was really good against quarterback sneak. And also felt that's why they stayed in shotgun. They also felt they had a good run play with Yant there. Probably would have scored if he wouldn't have tripped. But, yeah, that's it. To boil it down to its most simple explanation, it was a coaching staff that watched the film and apparently wasn't sure they could get an inch on the quarterback.
Yeah, there's another wrinkle to it, which I hope this doesn't come off as being tinfoil hattish. But I thought at first that Frost, he explained that they were good against. And at first I thought he said that's one of the reasons why we decided not to do that. But what he actually said was there's another reason why I didn't feel so good about doing that. He didn't say what it was, but Adrian Martinez took a big shot on the play before that. And we also know that Adrian Martinez has been dealing with some sort of jaw, mouth injury. And I think that part of it was they didn't want to have Adrian in a pile up on the goal line with where he's at physically at this point. I think, I can't say that for sure, but Frost definitely said there's another reason, and they didn't get into it. I would guess that's about the health of the quarterback. Kyle Beggs, 5-17 in one-score games, 375 winning percentage with only one coach. Worst winning percentage, Bill Jennings, 310. Potential NCAA sanctions coming. What has Frost done in 4 years to gain another year? If you say he was rebuilding, then you're admitting Riley was a better coach because he went to a bowl game. So you're saying he did more with less. Yeah, I mean, Kyle, there's a lot to unpack there. Certainly this team should have been bowl caliber. Yeah. And they're not. I mean, it's not impossible at this point. They need 3 wins. They've got 4 games left. I mean, you just saw Purdue go beat Iowa handily today, which, I mean, you could look at that 2 ways. You could look at it – well, you can look at it 2 ways, which is, one, Nebraska's not guaranteed to beat Purdue by any stretch of the imagination in 2 weeks. And then also that they're not guaranteed to lose to Iowa on Black Friday either. So
yeah. They could probably beat all 4 of the teams still on the schedule. They could also lose to all 4 of the teams still on their schedule. 100%. When we talk about not dealing in absolutes.
Yeah. Tommy says Yant runs scared at times at the point of attack. Why was such a big dude? Yeah, Tommy, I mean, look, people clamor for Jacquez Yant. Why don't they use him in short yards? I mean, you saw it today. Like, you just saw it today. Rahmir Johnson's clearly their best back, and he would have been in there on 4th and goal from the half-yard line had he not got hurt 2 plays before that. So it's almost like they play the guys they actually think have the best chance.
Yeah, some of that's maybe just inexperience with Yant too, coming to this level. Not that Ramir Johnson has a ton of
he has significantly more than Yant, though.
Yeah, and it's shown a propensity to stick his nose in there and get that extra yard.
Super simple. The quarterback is the leader. Everything rises and falls with leadership. Martinez is too inconsistent. Yeah, James, I mean, certainly was today. They went 3 and out in 45 seconds on the first trip.
Set the tone for the whole game.
It did.
Yeah,
it did. And then, Martinez got going for a while in the second half, and then, they just couldn't finish the deal.
I thought that drive, their last touchdown, was just the most predictable thing ever when it was a 14-point game again, and Martinez completed it.
Right down the field.
Right down the field, made it look easy, and why isn't it like that the whole game?
Yeah. Chances Frost would ever hand off the offense to someone else not currently on staff to save his chance of keeping the head coach job. Yeah, Anthony, I mean, it's probably more of an offseason conversation, but one of the interesting things is, now look, Nebraska's defense wasn't lights out today, especially in the first half. Minnesota had 250 yards in the first half. But when what you need most critically is progress on offense, and you have a head coach who has an offensive system, the process of fixing the offense gets more complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely.
I don't have a lot to add.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is going to be a part of the conversation going forward. How do we say they're a good team at this point? Yeah, just like Baz said.
Yeah.
If they can't motivate themselves at this point, that's not a good indicator for the rest of the season.
Correct.
Yes.
Bunch of 6-year seniors.
I know.
That's what's and you don't want to pin it on all those. You don't want to pin it on those.
No, it's not exactly. But it's interesting because Frost said that it wasn't like the most energetic week, but he said, I didn't know what to make of that because they've been so professional.
Yeah.
They've done such a good job. Business-like. He said it was business-like. It wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to square in your mind how, with a bye week coming up, even at the end of a long stretch of games, 8 straight games, how you'd come out flat in this game. It's very hard to explain. And the guys struggled to explain it today. I mean, Ben Stilley said they lost a bunch of one-on-one battles in the first half, and that's just, that was it proved too much to overcome.
Yeah. Where do we go with kicker? Asked Alan Cass. It's a great question. They tried a different kicker at Oklahoma and it got blocked and returned for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
The freshman, Kellen
Meyer.
I don't know. It's one of the maybe the most perplexing part about this season. A guy that was the Big Ten kicker of the year last year and was so reliable and such a steadying force, and had some injury issues in the offseason and the preseason, and just has not been right. Seemed to get it going there for maybe a game or two. It comes out and hits a 50-yarder into the wind that would have pretty easily been good from 55.
Yeah.
And those of you who play golf will understand this. He's almost got the two-way miss work. It almost seems like he doesn't know where it's going from time to time.
Yeah.
If you pull one that badly and then push one to the right, you're not exactly sure where to go to fix it. And you hurt. And you can tell he wants it, but man, he's lost in the wilderness right now. And sometimes that happens. I don't know if it's any more complicated than that. He's just having a tough time getting out of it.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, the rest of the year is a tough conversation. That bye weeks tend to be when you can take a longer look at some of your operational stuff. And so what that's going to be, I'm sure that will be Connor Culp trying to figure out what is happening. And then B will be, do they have somebody who they can spend some extra time with over the next couple of weeks with it slowing down a little bit here that they feel good about putting out there? I mean, they tried it with Kellen Meyer, and you and Sipple were talking about it before that game, that it was coming low off his foot before that game, and then it got blocked during the game. And so we'll see if they have another answer there. But it's going to be a long couple of weeks, not only for Connor, obviously, but for everybody pretty much. The curse will continue until Coach Solich is recognized and apologized to at halftime of a game. Nick says, Trev Alberts basically said recently, he didn't say in quite so many words, but he essentially said that they've asked and he's not interested. What he said was Frank's a very private person and we would love to have him back, but.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see if it happens anytime soon. He sounded like he was open to it, but also that it may not happen. I'll take a much less talented quarterback that's a good leader, consistent, and a finisher. Well, James, I mean, look, all we have to go by is based on what literally anyone in the program will tell you, and nobody says that Adrian Martinez is anything other than a good leader. Mm-hmm. The consistency and the finishing element of it, sure. I mean, we can talk about that all day, and they haven't done it. They have not been able to play consistently, and they have not finished. But I think that anybody inside the building at Memorial Stadium would take umbrage with the, questioning the leadership element of it. No bowl game from earlier year, Bob. Yeah, time's getting short.
Yeah, gonna be tough.
It's not possible. It's not impossible at this point, but man, time's getting short. When will they announce the time for the Purdue game? And he guesses Henry. Normally that would be Monday, probably. Now we're getting to the time of year where the television networks use this devilish little thing called the 6-day flex. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably know Monday, but they could also wait until Sunday, a week from tomorrow, to do the whole slate. Sometimes they push that even a little further into November. So in all likelihood, we'll know Monday about noon. I just don't understand how, as a player, you can't show up to play. It's really mind-boggling, Bob says.
Yeah. We kind of touched on that already. It's just a surprise, especially with all the experience on this team.
Yep. Being close so many times means you're so far away, Brian. You know what? I wrote exactly that today.
It's a very good observation, Brian.
Let's see. Gosh, we got a lot in here. Good work, guys. When do the NCAA sanctions go into effect? Chris, there hasn't actually been any conclusion that we know of to the NCAA's investigation. So we'll see about that. Also, losing Teddy was huge, James. Yeah. I mean, I think you saw that today.
Yeah.
That really, it's amazing to say that about a true freshman tackle, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. We saw it against Northwestern, how good that. And again, it's Northwestern. Northwestern beat Rutgers 21-7 today. So again, who knows? But yeah, there was a difference when he was in there, and you can move some guys around. So yeah, I think that hurt. It hurt a lot at the time. I think we knew that, but it hurt maybe even more than we realized when it happened.
New big talented receivers, yet the passing game still the same. Why hasn't Manning been used in the way we were promised? Well, Zach, I mean, it's just factually incorrect to say the passing game is the same. They've been a lot more efficient in the passing game this year than they were last year. Part of that speaks to how bad they were in the passing game last year. But it's been. They're averaging. They came in today averaging almost 10 yards per attempt in the passing game. Last year was less than 7. So, and in terms of Omar Manning, I mean, we get this question a lot about Omar Manning and about Xavier Betts, and I just don't know what to tell people other than if they were playing and practicing at a level that the coaching staff felt like they had to be out there all the time, they would be. It's really that simple. So. There's just not a market difference in what they think they're going to get production-wise between Omar Manning and Levi Falk and Oliver Martin and Xavier Betts and some. Teray plays more. He didn't start today for some reason, but he plays the most out of all those guys.
Yeah.
Martinez already graduated. Yep, Chris, he graduated in May and he's working on a graduate degree right now. Got vaccine questions in the YouTube comments.
Oh boy.
Any chance we see Fedoni coming off the bye? Any other young guys forward? Yeah.
Marty, great question. Yeah. I think we will.
There's a chance. Yeah.
There's a chance. Yeah, we don't want to guarantee anything, but that would, starting with Purdue, of course, Nebraska has 4 regular season games left. You can play in 4 games and still maintain your red shirt. So that would seem like a good time. You have a bye week to kind of work him up to speed. You also have 2 pretty good tight ends in front of him, too, in Austin Allen and Travis Vokalek. So we'll see. It would not be surprising to see Thomas get on the field here in the coming weeks.
Will Frost be a coach and actually start Logan Smothers in 2 weeks? Something has to change. David, they tried that last year, and it got them with Luke McCaffrey, and it got them absolutely nowhere. Nothing's impossible, but I don't think they're going to watch the film of this game and say, Adrian just played so poorly that he can't be the starter going forward. I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
I've been shocked before, but I'd be shocked. Silver, Huskers will win 3 out of 4. Here's some positivity. 3 out of 4. Just need some rest. It's been a brutal run up to this point. Put it on the board, Silver. If you're right about that, if they go 6 and make a bowl game, just tell me what lottery numbers to pick.
And look, he's right. They played 8 straight weeks against a really, really hard schedule. And I noted this in our notebook today. Austin Allen had a career day, and the dude looked like he wanted to go to sleep, like standing out there for his postgame interview. He looked tired. He had an ice pack on his shoulder. No, these guys are beaten up physically, certainly, emotionally, absolutely. They needed a break. They probably needed a break a couple of weeks ago, to tell you the truth. And it's just the way the schedule broke where they didn't get it. And, of course, like we said, Minnesota came off a bye. It's not making excuses. That's what it is. That's what happened. But, yeah, these guys need to get away from football for a couple of days and kind of reset.
Last one, Tony asked, what happened to Stepp? Marquise Stepp, that is, running back. Yeah, Frost sort of said a couple of weeks ago he thought maybe he wasn't fully healthy, but it has been interesting. He was the guy early in the year, and now he's not. He didn't play at all today. He's here. He made the trip. He was part of the travel roster. Saw him riding a bike early in the game, kind of keeping his legs warm and all that. But, yeah, it's amazing. I just don't know how you could not have foreseen this at the beginning of the year. But right now what it looks like is they have Ramir Johnson and then question marks behind Ramir Johnson. Just how we all thought the running back would shake out.
Exactly, yeah.
No sugar. How do you two feel the team played and the coach's coach? No sugarcoating.
Well, they
Nick
lost,
says.
so it wasn't that good, Nick, I guess. I mean, they're down 21-9 at halftime and came out flat. The game they had to win.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was the worst they played since the Illinois game.
Yeah.
It certainly was the worst they've started since the Illinois game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is not a team that is good enough to overcome giving up 250 yards and letting Tanner Morgan, who'd been completing 52% of his passes, complete a school record 16 straight.
Pretty amazing that he hadn't completed more than 14 passes in an entire game this year and then completed 16 in a row against Nebraska.
And then threw interceptions on back-to-back attempts.
Technically completed 18 in a row, just 2 of them to the other team.
One to Cam Taylor-Britt and one to Deontay Williams. All right.
Hi, Palmer.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you all for reading. We got a ton of and watching. We got a ton of coverage up on journalstar.com/Huskers. Read it all. We'll have more later tonight, tomorrow, into the bye week, and obviously on through the end of the season. That's all for tonight from Minneapolis. That's Baz. I'm Parker. Thanks for watching.